I want to continue our talk on John Owen's book, The Mortification of Sin. Today, he's helping us think about how to not battle sin, wrong ways to go about battling sin. And one of the main things he has in mind in chapter 13 is to make sure that you don't speak peace to yourself before God's Spirit speaks peace to you. And the main thing that he has in mind here is that sometimes we can know the truth that sins are forgiven in Jesus Christ, and we can go to that truth too quickly in a way that we never really deal with our sin. And he thinks we're skipping an important step when we do that. He doesn't want us to speak peace to ourselves, but he wants to make sure that God, by his Spirit, speaks peace to us. So one of the things that he has in mind here is that we ought to be sorrowful over our sin. And that act of being sorry for your sin comes by the power of the Spirit. Some people want to say, I'm part of the covenant, or I'm part of God's people. I'm in Jesus Christ. So, I did this terrible sin. I know I shouldn't have done it, but, everybody should just calm down. Calm down, everybody. I'm forgiven by Jesus. And they skip over being sorry for the sin at all. And that seems to be a step that we shouldn't be skipping. Yes, we should consider the reality that our sins are forgiven in Jesus Christ, yet we ought to remember that our sins are forgiven by the stripes of Christ. By his stripes we are healed. Therefore, we ought to think about what it cost Jesus Christ to pay for our sin. We ought also to think that God means for us to be ashamed over our sins. Being ashamed about your sin is one of the steps we should go through, not just in getting saved, but in dealing with our sin as a Christian. Remember Job. He says he abhors himself. When he thought about his own sin, he abhorred himself. And so we ought to think then that a real sense of sorrow over sin is a necessary step in our dealing with the sin that's going on in our own life. And if we just, commit a significant sin, don't really feel sorry about it, just immediately say, don't worry, you're fine, Jesus saves, and move right on to let's go back to life as normal. Everybody just needs to forget about what just happened here. We shouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves back in sin right away. Another way that he gets at this is he says sometimes we just deal with sin in sort of natural ways with a few Bible verses. A natural person will know I did a wrong thing. They may even feel a conviction of sin. And then you take that person who says, okay, yeah, I've gone through the step of feeling conviction, and then you just begin to paste over the sin with a quick reference to a couple Bible verses about the Lord is willing to forgive. And you just pop a few of those verses in there. I know the Lord is ready to give mercy. I know he's ready to forgive. So with the idea that I felt conviction, and I know that the Lord forgives, I'm ready to be back in business. And again, Owen is saying, well, it seems to me that you're skipping an important point, which is that God, the same God who brings conviction, is the God who through conviction brings you to the place of hating your sin and of longing to put that sin away and not be involved in it anymore. And he, as he takes you through that process, also brings you out on the other side with, yes, a real thankfulness for the work of Christ and for how you're forgiven through Jesus Christ, but also a real sense of, I don't want to engage in that sin anymore. And that, again, is what he means by we need the Lord to speak peace to us as he deals with our heart about the sin and helps us recommit by his help to put that sin away. So I hope this has been helpful to you as we think about John Owen in our battling sin and remembering that the Spirit of God must speak peace to us.